Vitamin B12 is the biological engine keeping your brain sharp and fueling every red blood cell in your body. Without it, the system starts stuttering. Here's the strange part. We actually produce B12 ourselves. Bacteria in our gut manufacture it every day. But they do it in the colon, which is past the point where our bodies can actually absorb it. It arrives too late to do us any good. You might think your specific diet protects you, but the numbers tell a different story. Over 60% of vegetarians are deficient in B12, and surprisingly, omnivores have high deficiency rates too. Eating meat doesn't guarantee you're in the clear. Because we store B12 for a couple of years, it takes a while to run dry. When you finally hit empty, it hits hard. The creeping symptoms include extreme fatigue, troubling physical numbness, severe memory loss, and even tongue swelling. Maintaining healthy B12 levels is a universal biological challenge that exists regardless of whether you eat meat or plants. Let's deal with the idea that we should only get nutrients naturally. Most factory-farmed animals are actually fed B12 supplements. If you rely on those meats, you are essentially consuming a supplement secondhand. To make matters trickier, finding out if you are deficient isn't as simple as checking a box at the doctor's office. Standard blood tests can give you a deceptive sense of security. This gauge shows the problem. You can have normal B12 levels in your blood while the actual cells are starved of it. To find out, ask your doctor for an MMA test to measure your true cellular status. Since we can't blindly trust natural labels or basic blood tests, we must look at the actual sources of B12 and design a dietary strategy based on true efficacy. This evaluation matrix looks at the first of 3 reliable sources: animal products. But keep in mind, not all animal foods are created equal. Liver is incredibly dense in B12 because that is where the animal stores it. One slice covers your needs several times over. But getting your B12 this way forces you to ingest massive amounts of saturated fat and cholesterol. Eggs have a different problem. Their bioavailability is incredibly low. Your body struggles to extract the nutrient, meaning you would need to eat dozens of eggs a day just to hit your requirement. Contrast those with fish, specifically a fillet of salmon. It provides a highly efficient dose of B12 without the heavy dietary baggage. In meat, B12 is locked inside protein. To break that bond, your body relies on highly acidic stomach acid. But as we age or take antacids, our stomach acid drops. The B12 stays locked in the protein and goes unabsorbed. For older adults or anyone on these medications, relying on a piece of fish or meat for B12 is a biological dead end. You have to pivot to alternative sources. That brings us to source number 2, fortified foods. This includes breakfast cereals, fortified plant milks, and nutritional yeast. The B12 added to these foods is free-form. Because it is not bound to protein, it completely bypasses the stomach acid requirement, instantly solving the age and medication problem. This pipeline represents the gut wall to show the major biological catch. Our receptors have a strict cap. When a large dose arrives all at once, those receptors saturate almost immediately. To overcome this cap using food, you are forced to micromanage your diet. You have to intentionally space out your B12-rich meals 2 or 3 times a day to avoid wasting the nutrient. Fortified foods perfectly bypass the stomach acid issue, but they introduce the lifestyle friction of constantly tracking your meals. If you are short on time and don't want to track your meals, let's look at the third option, supplements. The math here is often confusing. The daily recommended allowance is a microscopic 2.4 micrograms, so why do supplement bottles advertise massive doses in the thousands? This chart reveals why. Because your receptors lock up quickly, the larger the dose you swallow, the smaller the percentage absorbed. But researchers found a sweet spot. A single 2,000 microgram pill once a week guarantees enough B12 pushes through to cover you. For about 6 cents a week, supplements allow you to brute force your way past your gut's biological limits with 0 daily friction. You might be tempted by hypothesized sources like duckweed, certain algae, or mushrooms. The B12 in these plants is often inactive. It might register on a laboratory test of the food itself, but your human cells cannot actually utilize it. Gambling on trendy superfoods for your B12 provides a false sense of security while leaving your brain and blood vulnerable. If you choose supplements, the delivery format ties in clinical efficacy: a swallowed pill, a dissolvable tablet, or a liquid spray. All work fine. Pick what you prefer. There is one critical caveat you need to know, specifically if you have compromised kidney function. Most standard supplements use a cheap form called cyanocobalamin. It gets the job done, but it forces the kidneys to work harder to process it. If you have kidney concerns, turn the supplement bottle around and look explicitly for the alternative form, methylcobalamin. True optimization means reading the fine print of the molecule, rather than just trusting the marketing on the front of the bottle. This decision tree combines age, diet, and medication use to determine which approach works best for your body. Rule 1. If you are over 50 or on stomach acid medications, immediately move away from animal products for B12. Pivot to free-form supplements or fortified foods. Rule 2. If you are under 50 and strictly prefer whole foods, prioritize fish over eggs and commit to spacing your meals out multiple times a day to overcome the absorption cap. Rule 3. For vegans and omnivores who want the simplest path, a single 2,000 microgram weekly supplement bypasses the daily tracking entirely. Protecting your brain and blood health requires navigating these biological bottlenecks, ensuring your body gets what it needs regardless of the source.